Hello, I'm Amara Jones, and today is Tuesday, April 21st. This is Caffeine TV, your daily news brief, here to take you through 3 headline numbers in just 3 minutes, giving you a different take on everything from housing policy to the Real Housewives. The first number today is 82. That's the number of aircraft aboard the U.S. aircraft carrier Theodore Roosevelt, which today is parked off the coast of Yemen, a country in the Middle East which shares a border with Saudi Arabia and the Persian Gulf. Now, Yemen is important not only because of its strategic location, which you can now clearly see, but also because it's been a focal point for the U.S. campaign against terrorism, specifically the terrorist group Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which has been targeted by U.S. drone strikes over the past 10 years. In fact, one of the shooters in the Charlie Hebdo massacre trained with Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula before making his way back to France. But the problem is that recently the government in Yemen, which the U.S. has been allied with, has been overthrown by a group of rebels called the Houthis, backed by Iran, and that's why the Theodore Roosevelt is there to block arms shipments from Iran. But all of this is subsumed in a larger civil war in Yemen, which is even more baffling than most of the things said by Kanye West recently. And all of this just points out that the U.S., rather than getting out of the Middle East, is sliding deeper in. The next number up today is 90,000. That's the number of people, according to the New York Times, who've applied for the 55 affordable housing units in New York City's infamous Poor Door building, which shot to notoriety last year for its 2 separate entrances, one for those who are living in the 250 market rate apartments in the building and the other in the 55 affordable housing units, even though the building itself was built using affordable housing subsidies. Now, not only will the 2 populations have 2 separate entrances, but they'll have a segregated laundry area, and those living in the affordable housing units won't be able to share in the building's other amenities, such as its gym. To give you a sense of what poor is in New York, those who make between $30,000 and $50,000 a year will be eligible for those affordable housing units. But New York City isn't the only place in America facing an affordable housing crisis. According to CNN Money, over the past 5 years, 90% of the nation's largest metropolitan areas have had rents rise faster than wages, with that demand fueled by the fact that fewer people are buying homes because of the difficulty in getting mortgages and the jobs to be able to fund them. And all of this just goes to show that the wounds opened up during the last economic crisis still have yet to heal. The last number up today is 8, as in 8 times, according to the Transgender Law Center. That's the likelihood that trans men and women will end up behind bars more than someone from the general population, fueled by the need to find alternative ways to support themselves, itself driven by widespread job discrimination. And it's against that backdrop that 36-year-old trans woman Ashley Diamond landed in a Georgia prison for violating probation off of an earlier burglary charge. But since landing in that prison, has been essentially tortured, thrown time after time into solitary confinement, repeatedly raped by the hardened criminals that are in the maximum security prison in which she finds herself, and denied essential hormone therapy by the deputy warden of the prison. So not surprisingly, yesterday she went to a federal district judge to try to be moved to a more secure facility, but he said that there was nothing that he could do for her because he was, well, just a federal judge and didn't have the power to order people around in the prison system, which seems odd. But all of this just goes to show that despite the notoriety of trans men and women in media and entertainment, that the ability of trans men and women to live their everyday lives as human beings remains a dramatic challenge.